All right. Prop the mic, PTM here on a Saturday. What's up, Dave?
Yeah, weekend edition.
We love a good weekend edition. You get some family time in, and then it's I like watching the games on a Saturday when we're hanging around the house. It's fun.
Yeah. Although I was kind of hoping they'd have something start during the day, especially since the NCAA starts at night, and they didn't really. The first game is 5 p.m. Eastern time, but for you that is daytime, so that works.
That
for
is,
you.
yeah. Tomorrow there's a 10 a.m. Game I saw Pacific time. Yeah.
All right. So
all right,
6 games tonight, right?
Yeah.
Let's dive in. All right. So first one, we got the Pacers at the Hawks. Hawks are -9 at home. Total is 242. Jalen Johnson, is that his name?
Yeah.
He's out. And then obviously Trae Young is questionable. Those are the big notables.
DeAndre Hunter too.
And DeAndre Hunter, it was questionable. Anything standing out for you in this game?
You also on the Indiana side too. That's why there's not a lot of lines out yet. I mean, I think you also got Halliburton still questionable, Mathurin and Turner. So there's no lines out here. You have some nice matchups. Bogdanovich on the Atlanta side is in a nice matchup here against the Pacers. I think even more so if Trae's out. So let's look at his lines when they come out a bit later. Also, bigs, rolling cut bigs, especially Capella and Okongwu. Could look at those two guys. But I didn't have anything on the Atlanta side. How about you?
Yeah, I just liked I like John Collins. He's been hot of late. 13.5 points. 4 of his last 5. He's 1-1 hitting this against Indy. He had 7 the first game, 26 the second game. And again, he just like Bogdanovich, if Trae Young doesn't play, Collins is a great play. He's crossed 13.5 points in 8 out of the last 10 without Trae. So
all right.
I don't know if the lines right now are assuming Trae is out. I can tell you for sure this would be a good game to rest him, a home game against Indy, but we'll see.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I like that, especially if Trae's out. Yeah, he definitely gets more run. On the Indy side, you have a really nice match. I'm hoping Halliburton plays. What do you think? Plays or no?
Yeah, I think he plays, right?
Yeah, I mean, still listed as questionable, but I don't know. But he's in a great matchup here. Primary ball handlers have been dominating the Hawks. Especially of note to me was I was kind of digging into a lot of times we look at three-pointers made, but I know you like to see the attempts, right? And so especially defensively, it's maybe they're not falling, but what defenses are allowing whatever position to take a bunch of threes. So Atlanta is averaging since January 1st almost 8 3-point attempts per game by primary ball handlers. So it's a lot of attempts. So I would like Halliburton here.
Yesterday was his first game back, so I don't think he got hurt in that game. So it's really a matter of whether or not they're pushing him for back-to-back. He'd be the guy. I'm on here. If he's out and they have a couple other guys, Turner and Mathurin, if they don't play, you're going to get some of these other guys who are already in good spots, like Brissett and Jordan Nwora. I would keep an eye out for those guys because they're in good matchups to begin with, and they'll get extra run if some of these guys sit. Okay.
All right.
Enough of this hypothetical analysis.
Yeah.
If this, then that. Let's move on to a game where the lineups are a little bit more known. We got the Nets at the Heat. I think they're playing for the second time this season? Maybe more. I don't know. Heat are -6, totals 220.5. Curry is out for the Nets, which might be noteworthy for impacting other players. And Lowry, I think the assumption is he's out for the Heat.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Not a ton that I was kind of like on the Brooklyn defensive side. Not a ton was matching up to like Miami's roster there in terms of good matchups. So I didn't have anything. One that was popping out was Caleb Martin, but he's questionable. So I didn't have anything on the Miami side. How about you?
I liked Hero, 18.5 points. He's done this in 6 of his last 10, 7 of his last 10 at home. And he had 24 last time he played Brooklyn on January 8th. I believe he had 5 3-pointers in that game. Okay. So I'd look at both his points and his 3-pointers. He's been nailing 3 threes most games. So that I think his line was 2.5, and it might have been plus money. So I'd consider either of those for sure.
Okay. I like Hero in this game. It seems like a game. Yeah. I just have a feeling it's one of those gut plays. I have a feeling this is a Tyler Hero game. Yeah.
It kind of feels that way. And then I think Bam blocks and steals over 1.5. It's juicy, minus 165. But you can keep an eye on it. And he's done this in 9 of his last 10 games, averaging 2.4 blocks and steals. And in his last 3 or 4 matchups against Brooklyn, he's had this as well. So I think he's in a good spot to kind of get 2 blocks in this game. So, all
nice. Right. Yes, very good. I like that.
All right, and then what do you like on the Nets side?
On the Nets side, all right, I like I got a few here that I liked. So shot creating wings have a nice matchup here. So Mikal Bridges is looking good. Your shooting forwards, also nice matchup. So that's Cam Johnson. And then movement shooters is Joe Harris and Seth Curry. That
was good defense. Good defense by you right there.
Yeah, thanks. I like Joe Harris, 6.5 points. 6.5 points, minus 110. He's done it in his last 7 of 10 games without Seth Curry, averaging 9 points per game. His last 10 without Curry, and he had 9 points against Miami on February 15th when they played. So I think this is a nice spot for him here.
Yeah, that was the guy I also I didn't have a play on him, but he was the guy I was keying in on in terms of positive impact from Curry being out. Definitely seems like he gets more run. I actually think he gets an extra, it was something like 6 more minutes of playing time, 6-7 minutes of playing time without Curry. So that's a good spot there. I like that.
Yeah, I think so too. Nice low line like you like, 6.5. Nice.
Yeah, I mean, I usually like 3.5, 4.5, but I'll take 6.5. That's good.
Okay.
Go ahead.
And then let's move on to Bridges here. I like his points, 23.5 points. In that February 15th game, it was one of his first games for Brooklyn. He had 45 points in that game against Miami.
Wow.
And he's done this in 6 of his last 10, but in 2 of those misses, he had 23. So he got hooked twice, very close to being 8 of his last 10 games in a really nice matchup here. So I think he gets there no problem. He had over 30 last night, I believe, right? Or 2 nights, whenever that was.
Yeah. He had a big game recently.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Nets are in the 7 spot right now, and they're actually only a half game behind the Heat for the 6 spot. So just keep that in mind for this game. There's definitely a lot on
motivation.
A lot of motivation for this one.
Yeah. And then just last one real quick. I mentioned Cam Johnson in a nice spot here. I like his par. 20.5, minus 120. He's done this in 6 of 10 overall. Got hooked once at 20, so almost 7 of 10. And the last 2 times he played Miami, he had 22 par in both of those games.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
You're not going to jump on the Dinwiddie assist bandwagon yet?
Oh, no. I forgot about that. Hit me.
No, I didn't actually play it because I don't like the matchup with the Heat particularly. Yeah. But and he only had like 4 or 5 assists, something like that, the last time they played. But he is super consistent. I mean, he's putting up 10 plus assists almost every game. So, always worth a consideration. But eventually,
forgot about that.
Yeah, eventually he'll come back down to earth.
Yeah.
Okay. Good on this game?
Yep, let's move on.
All right, next we got the Bucks at the Nuggets. Nuggets are -3 at home. Totals 236.5. These teams have played before this season, but it was kind of hard to do any sort of historical comparisons because Jokic was out of a bunch of them. Giannis, I think, might have been out of some of them. So I don't think they've ever really recently played each other fully loaded. So this will be an interesting game.
Yes.
Just to see as a power play who's
yes,
in better position for a potential championship.
Yes, this is definitely probably the game of the day. A lot of implications, for playoffs and whatnot here. Exactly. Two big powers going up against each other here. So surprisingly, defensively, Milwaukee against your guards has been I think it was the second best matchup that I looked at. I think only to Utah, which was pretty crazy. So shot creating guards is a really nice matchup, and primary ball handlers. So I have Murray classified as a primary ball handler, but he's one of those guys that's he's on the brink of, one of those guys that maybe could be classified as a shot creating guard. So you have two positions here that he could go to either, and both are dominant against Milwaukee here. So I like his points, 21.5 points, -115. He's done this in 4 straight games at home on 2 days rest, averaging 28 points per game. And he's done it in his last 4 or 5 overall on 2 days rest, averaging 25.8 points per game. And then this one, I think I like even more. Jamal Murray over 2.5 threes made. The reason I went on this, I mentioned earlier, I did a little digging into 3-point attempts allowed. So shot creating guards against Milwaukee since January 1st, averaging 9.1 3-point attempts per game. So I love Murray here. He's done this in 9 of 11 this season on 2 days rest, averaging 3.6 made threes. He's done it in 6 straight games on 2 days rest, averaging 4.7 made threes. And he's done it in 7 of his last 8 home games, averaging 4.5 made threes per game.
Not bad.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's definitely popping. I like that.
Yeah.
And even just his last 3 games, right? 5, 4, and 3. So very, very good shooting. Okay, nice.
I was shocked. I was shocked. 9 3-point attempts per game since January 1st at this position is pretty wild.
Yeah, I'm looking recent games. Vassell had 3. Van Vliet had 3. Gary Trent had 5. Buddy Hield had 3. Neesmith 6. Nembhard 4. Cameron Payne 3. Wow, it's just people. The guards are bombing away.
And I like it because I feel like there's a bit of an edge here because everyone thinks. I mean, who's guarding these guys? It's Drew Holiday. Everyone's Drew Holiday is and he is. So I don't know why this is the case here. That would require a little bit more digging, but I think there's a bit of an edge here.
I always thought of Drew Holiday as one of the nicer guys in the league. So maybe he's just being
a nice guy,
exactly.
Being a friendly guy.
All
right. The other one that was popping a bit, off-ball guards, also with the 3-pointers. So off-ball guards, which is KCP, also Christian Brown, but KCP is who we'll look at here, averaging 6.1 3-point attempts per game against Milwaukee going back to January 1st. So I don't have a play on him, but he's another guy popping here, KCP.
Nice.
Yeah.
On the Nuggets side, I like Bruce Brown over 3.5 rebounds. 8 of his last 10. And he had 8 against Milwaukee last time they played. So I don't know. I don't have a lot more support other than that.
Yeah.
It's just a good recent trend, and I think he'll get some good run in this game.
I think so. Yeah, I like that.
Bucks? Anybody on the Bucks side?
No, the only guy really popping to any extent was Bobby Portis, and I didn't see lines out on him yet, so I didn't look. But not a lot against Denver here.
But worth noting, I think Crowder is going to be out again tonight.
Yes, he will.
Which
Middleton
means
back, Crowder out.
Bobby Portis gets up for that one.
Yeah, Crowder is out. So, we're definitely looking at those Bobby Portis lines. When
I'm just putting them right in a big Bobby on my notes here.
All right.
All right. Next, we got the 76ers at the Suns. Suns are -1.5 at home. Total is 225. So another battle of the heavyweights should be good.
Yeah.
I think Ayton is questionable, but projected to be out again, which
he's still he's out. Yeah,
leaves me to wonder who is going to guard Embiid.
Yeah. I actually, there's not a lot of lines out on this yet, so I don't have anything really. You have primary ball handlers against Philly, nice matchup. So that's Chris Paul, Campaign to a lesser degree. Not a ton, even against Phoenix. Nothing really popping. So I got nothing on this game.
Okay. I just wanted to point out really a play around Embiid's assists. I think we either talked about it on the show yesterday or I mentioned to you off air, but his line right now is 5.5 assists. Mm-hmm. Now, it really depends whether or not Harden plays, right? Yeah. So that would almost tell me that the assumption is Harden is not going to play.
Is not going to play because it's 5.5.
Because it's 5.5. Because in his last 10 games with Harden, he's only crossed 5.5 assists once, right? In his last 10 games without Harden, he's crossed 5.5 assists 9 out of 10 times.
Wow.
So if for some reason you can get this line and you get some early indication that Harden's going to play tonight, which now he's sat out 2 consecutive games, so it would be logical that he would come back if he's healthy, then I would jump all over it. But until you really know what the story is with Harden, I would probably lay off.
Yeah. Definitely some good advice there. I do love Embiid in this game. I think he's in a nice spot here. Yeah.
Yeah. I was even looking at his first quarter line. His first quarter points is 10.5.
Really?
But his production in the first quarter is huge. You saw it last night against the Warriors. He plays all 12 minutes in the first quarter. So he just goes out there and just rebounds. I think his line for rebounds was 3.5 in the first quarter, and his line for points was 10.5. I think they're both good plays in this game. So that's another angle you can go.
Nice.
All right. Jazz at the Kings. Kings are -7.5 at home. Totals 237. There was literally one player out for this game. It was Sabonis was the only prop I saw. So I don't really have anything here, but any matchups we should be considering?
Yeah. So, like we meant, both these teams, they're probably the teams with the two most, the most number of matchups, like good matchups against them. So I love, he is questionable, but I love De'Aaron Fox in this game here. He's just popping big time. So I can't wait to see his lines later. But like I said, nothing much. Markkanen was popping for Utah, but he's out. So I don't know. Let's look at Fox later, but I got nothing.
Okay, yeah, maybe we'll throw a play up on Twitter later if the lines come out and are favorable.
Yeah,
for either at least for Fox, right? So
yeah.
All right, and then the last game we got the Pelicans at the Clippers. Clippers at -5. Total was 223.5. I was just going to look up the standings because I feel like both of these teams are probably not far off. No, Clippers are in 4th place in the West. With they're 10.5 games back from the Nuggets, who are in 1st. The Pelicans are in 9th place. So they are now in the play-in, and they're 13 games back. So they're only 2.5 games back from the Clippers.
Wow.
But separated by 5 places. So that just tells you the importance of all these Western Conference games right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Matchup wise, against New Orleans, I like this one here. So off-ball guards, nice matchup. So that's Terrence Mann. I like his par here. It says 15.5 minus 118. He's done this in 21 of 30 games. 21 of his last 30 games without Paul George, averaging 20 par. He's done it in 9 of his last 10 at home without Paul George, averaging 25.1. And he's done it in 4 straight games without Paul George and Norm Powell, averaging 25.3.
Yeah,
beautiful.
Yeah, and he looked really good the other day watching him play. Like, he's got that second unit had a lot of bounce to it. Like they move the ball so fast. Mm-hmm. They're actually more fun to watch than the first unit, So I think he's. They
got Russ out there with the second unit, or no?
No. They actually left. I was just talking about the first quarter, kind of like the back half of the first quarter was where they really picked up. I think they take Russ out and they leave Kawhi in, and then they bring some of these other guys. I don't know if Mann starts or not, but he definitely was out there late in the first quarter, and like between him and Bones Highland, like they just move the ball so quickly. It's really really fun to watch. So.
Yeah, this is a nice spot. We were just talking about this, getting these low pars on guys like this in spots. Yeah. It's really nice. So this is a really nice play today.
Good, I like that one.
Yeah, that's all I had on the Clippers side. Do you have anything?
Yeah, I passed up on this last game. Not going to pass up on it tonight. Kawhi over 27.5 points. Without George, he's done this in 5 out of 6 games. So he's just like the offense out there. So I think in a game like this, competitive game, I think he's going to really play big minutes and put up some big points. So I like Kawhi tonight.
Yeah, and they have motivation to. They are in 4th place, right? But they have motivation to like not slip in these last 2 weeks, and and because without Paul George there, I think they want to. They'll have home court advantage for the first round and whatnot. So these are important games for them, even though they're in 4th.
They have a 2-game lead over the Timberwolves in the 7th spot. Yeah. So literally lose 2 games, Timberwolves win 2 games, and a few other teams in between. It's like the picture right now is going to look very different. But it is notable the Mavericks right now are on the outside looking in.
Yeah, I know.
That's crazy. And Luka they had some interview with him yesterday. He's just totally like disconnected. So I don't know what's going on there.
So weird. All right. And then on the Pels side, you got 2. I like Ingram in a nice matchup here, and Joe Val as well. Clippers, especially recently, giving up a lot of big games, multiple positions here. So I like Ingram assists, 5.5 assists. He's done it in 5 straight games, averaging 7.6, and he's trending up. If you pull up his assists, you'll see it's like a nice like this. So let's catch this trend. I like it. I also like his points and assists. So it's 31.5. He's done that in 4 straight games, averaging almost 38 points and assists per game over his last 4. Also a nice recent trend right there to catch. So I like DI on that one as well. And then a guy we've been on a couple times over the last week, Joe Val, 29.5 par, minus 110. He's also done that in 4 straight games, averaging 39 par, 10 higher than his line over his last 4 games in a beautiful matchup. So both of these were really nice too.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out, going back to Ingram, I'm trying to figure out what's causing him to get all these extra assists.
It happened with Joe Val too. The same 4 games, all of a sudden, both of them ticked up significantly 4 games ago.
Yeah, Joe Val's playing time, right? Like if you look, he was playing like 20 minutes and now he's playing, 30 plus, right? Ingram actually in the last 2 games played less minutes than he did, the 8 games prior to that, right? And he had 10 assists last game in 34 minutes. So.
One thing is Alvarado's been out since like beginning of March sometime. Okay. So he's maybe that's it. And he's starting to take on some more of the offense because CJ hasn't been, as good. I don't know.
Yeah, he is 7 out of 10, hitting 5.5 assists without Alvarado. So that is a good call right there.
Yeah.
And you're right. Joe Val scoring is not completely unrelated to Ingram assist.
Yeah.
There's
definitely some correlation there.
Yeah, I like Joe Val as well tonight. Liked him a lot, but I went with his rebounds.
Okay.
Over 11.5. Plus, it's actually plus money, plus 115. I liked it because he played. So interesting, in games where he plays 30 minutes, he's 10 for 10 hitting this number, 10 for his last 10. And he's only 5 for his last 10 overall. But like you said, in that recent 4-game sample set, he's hit this in 3 out of his last 4. Last 2 games versus the Clippers were last year, but I still think it's a good comparison because Zubac was the center he was going up against. He had 13 rebounds and 16 rebounds. And then last stat, the recent centers that went up against the Clippers, Nurk had 11 rebounds, Wendell Carter had 12, Looney had 13, and Mitch had 14. That's all in the last week. So
wow,
these big guys are all rebounding like crazy, which is something we've been talking about for 5 months now. So
yep. I mean, when you look at the matchups here that I have listed out that were popping against the Clippers, shot creating bigs, stretch bigs, versatile bigs, like all your big guys have just been like crushing the Clippers lately. So I like that quite a bit.
Lots of good stuff.
I'm wondering, I was just thinking, I'm wondering if this recent like uptick with these two guys of production wise in the last 4 games, like maybe this news about Zion being able to like play again in 2 weeks, maybe it's really serious. And maybe they're like, we got a real chance if Zion's actually healthy, right? And he's going to come back and they could just sneak into the playoffs. Like they could be really scary if he's actually healthy. So maybe that's what it is. I don't know.
I hope so, because we have a Western Conference futures bet on New Orleans, and our promise to each other was if they actually make it to the Western Conference final, we're going to go to that game.
Yes, so PTM coming to you live from New Orleans.
Right. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Very good. Enjoy the games tonight, and we'll try to get some of these and maybe some others up on Twitter later as more props come out.
Yep. Sounds good. Nice work,
All right.
Dave. All right. Bye.